We all set?
Yep.
Good. It's a pleasure to open the school committee meeting, and you see your superintendent sitting here as chair. This is the annual reorganization meeting, and during this time of the meeting, the superintendent acts as the chair of the committee. I'd like to begin tonight with welcoming Cliff Bowers as our newest member of the school committee, and also would like to say that we said goodbye to Steve Derby on Friday night and recognized his almost 17 years of service. So, Mr. Bowers, we know that you'll be joining a great group, and look forward to personally working with you over your coming term. On the reorganization, provided the committee with a list of positions that need to have the election of officers, and we're going to first elect a chair, then a vice chair, secretary, legislative representative, and liaison to support groups. And after we do that, then we're going to go through with committee assignments. So I've included in the packet of material a list of the various positions as well as a description. So I'm going to open up for nominations, and we'll have a motion and then a second, and then I'll ask if that person wants to accept that position, and then we'll take a vote. Yes.
I'd like to nominate Mel Webster as chairman. Second.
That's quick. Mel, are you willing and able and interested in taking the position of chair?
I think I'm up to the task for one more year. I don't know if I can go for Jerry's 3 years in a row, but I think I'm up to the task for one more. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All in favor of Mel Webster as chair of the school committee?
Aye.
Aye. All right. The next position is vice chair. Do I have a nomination?
Nominate Maureen Bakken.
Second.
Maureen, interested in?
Sure.
You are. Great. All in favor of Maureen Bakker serving as vice chair coming year?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. The next position is secretary of the school committee.
I nominate Bowers.
I'll second.
All right. So Bowers has been nominated as secretary by Nicole Davis and second by Maureen Bakker. Cliff, you interested in taking this position?
I'll do anything. That's what we loved it. Yeah. You just got about 7 committees.
All in favor of Cliff Bowers as chair of the secretary of the school committee?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the next position is legislative representative. Nomination?
I'll nominate Jerry Venezia.
I'll second that.
All right, so Nicole has nominated Jerry Venezia, and Mel Webster has seconded. Jerry,
Yeah, there's only 2 things left.
you all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Very good. Why I'm saying aye, but just writing it down. Yeah.
Voting.
6 to nothing.
The
6 to nothing.
Power of the chair. And the final officer is the liaison to support groups.
Aye. Nominate Nicole.
Do you have a second on that?
Second.
Nicole, you want to take this position?
Sure. Which groups in particular? Is it just like the parent teacher organizations, or
It's the various parent-teacher organizations and booster groups that support.
Sure. And like in the last round with our budgets, it would have been NRU.
Right.
Any group.
And
That's what I was
right.
wondering, if it was, like groups like Enro.
It's going to be an election year. Good position to have.
Okay, all in favor of Nicole Davis serving as liaison to support groups?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. We have the officers done. And so then we have various subcommittees. And before we go through, I just want to read through the list because there may be some changes in terms of some of these committees. Some of them are coming to an end. But the first one is Elementary Schools Building Committee. I would recommend that we do have someone continue on that, even though it's likely that that will be coming to an end. Secondly, the Secondary Schools Building Committee is in an inactive status, but should it need to be reactivated, probably would be advisable to have someone assigned to that. The Policy Subcommittee generally has 2 members. Athletic Subcommittee has in the past 2 members, usually 1 or more. Well, no, they both serve as regular members of that committee. Youth at Risk Committee has 1 member. The Finance Planning Team, by definition, is generally the chair and the vice chair. So that would be Mel and Maureen for the Finance Planning Team. We have had a School Finance Strategies Committee. Actually, I believe that's one member.
Yeah, that's always
It's
been
1 member. And that committee has not met until, or since the fall, but it is a standing committee that has a charge. And then I've added a new committee that is being formed. It's basically a citizens group that will report to the Board of Selectmen, and I believe that there will be a liaison to that group. This is the Finance Advisory Committee, not to be confused with the Finance Planning Team. The Finance Planning Team is the chair and vice chair of the Board of Selectmen, School Committee, Finance Committee, the town administrator, the town finance director, the school business manager, and the superintendent serve on that. The School Finance Strategies Committee has worked over the years. Last year, their major task was to work on the benchmarking project. But this is a new group, the Finance Advisory Committee, and it's my understanding is that it is to look for ways to for additional sources of revenue, ways to be more, I guess, expedient with town finances. So, but there's an non-voting member.
Actually, I spoke to Bob Misery Friday night at Steve's event, and he said that it's going to be voting room.
Right. And I know, I also, and David, I don't know if we can work from the bottom up here, but I also spoke with Bob, and he said Mr. Bowers had expressed an
Right.
interest in being on that committee. So, I think if you're interested in that,
I applied for it.
okay. So, if we can appoint, do we need to vote on each one of these? Or?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Okay. So I know, we
You want
nominate.
to start with H?
Yeah,
Okay.
I nominate Mr. Cliff Bowers to be the school committee liaison to the Finance Advisory Committee.
A second.
Absolutely, yes. Okay, all in favor of Cliff Bowers serving as the school committee's representative to the Finance Advisory Committee?
Aye.
Okay, let's continue to work backwards on this list. The School Finance Strategies Committee.
Do you want to do that too? Okay, I'll nominate, but I think there's some benefit to having the person. Yes.
I'm gonna nominate Cliff for all of us.
Do we have a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor of Cliff Bowers serving on the School Finance Strategies Committee?
Aye.
Okay. Next is, F is already done, Finance Planning Team. That would be Mel and Maureen Barker, just by their position, so we won't vote on that. Youth at Risk. Maureen, you've served on that.
I'd be interested in staying.
Just for public information, the Youth at Risk Committee, I chair that committee as the principal and the assistant principal of the middle school and the high school, as representatives from the police department, youth services director, our middle school and high school psychologists serve on that. And the overall goal is, by its name, to look at programs designed to enhance overall health and wellness for students, and particularly to look at behaviors that put our youth at risk.
Well, I'll nominate Maureen.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next one is athletic subcommittee. The athletic subcommittee works with the high school athletic director, the high school principal, Rita Mullen from the recreation committee serves on that, and John Norton from the Boosters Club, Boosters organization. And again, the purpose is to look at overall athletic programs in our high school and to make recommendations for improvement. Last year, Noel Webster and Jerry served on that committee.
I'd like to remain on the committee.
And I nominate Mellinger.
Second.
Second.
Oh, okay, we do it.
You Cliff's the second.
Who did you take as second?
Cliff.
Cliff. So Mel Webster and Jerry Metzger. All in favor of Mel and Jerry on the athletic subcommittee?
Aye.
Okay. Our very important policy subcommittee.
I nominate Nicole Davis.
I have no problem with that.
Twice.
That I have a problem.
David, I just want, you had discussed, or I think we had discussed, I don't know if it was informally or formally, maybe, did we discuss restructuring that committee a little bit, or am I having a flashback, or remembering something that never happened?
No, I remember.
Did we
that.
talk a little-
We talked about that because it was, we'd end up being either purely reactive or only two members of the committee were having input into the policies and,
I don't remember what we,
no, I don't
I don't
know what
think
we
we came to any
decided to do about it.
conclusions, right? Oh, well.
Well, until you do, I nominate, they go back to work. I'm sorry.
So nominating Nicole.
Yes,
and
Nicole, and who else is interested?
Just again, the policy subcommittee, by law, the school committee is responsible for
How long has it been
voting
since
on
you've been on the policy
policies.
subcommittee?
And it is a role of the superintendent to implement the policies. What tends to happen is that the policy subcommittee meets. We actually, through the school committee annual goal-setting workshop, a number of target areas are outlined and identified by all members of the school committee. And that then the policy subcommittee takes those target areas and begins to work on identifying and developing drafts of policies that ultimately come to the school committee. We have a number of policies that are in sort of different stages of research, from gifted and talented to homework to differentiated instruction. The school start times started as a research project. It's not moved to a policy level yet, but it represents the kind of work that the policy subcommittee does. It does the research, it investigates policies in other school districts, and then may actually try to develop policies that ultimately would come here because it has to be voted on by the committee as a whole. There have been other times when changes in the law or new programs that we're bringing into the school district require a policy to be in place or regulations to be in place. Good example of that this year, the policy on security cameras and the policy on automatic external defibrillators that required extensive research to put that